Greetings, Kindred. I am Voivode Maquette, and welcome back to our World of Darkness and another episode of the Blood Sorcery playlist for level by level. In this episode, we are going to be going over the level 1 power of A Taste for Blood. This is the classic first level of Path of Blood Thaumaturgy. This is something that Tremere have been using since the very beginning, and I do find that it is one of the more useful powers that does seem to be overlooked a lot of the time. The book states, by tasting a drop of blood, the user can discern certain basic traits of the one to whom it belongs. So, in other words, by placing the blood in your mouth, and in older systems it would say risking oneself of the blood bond, you can find information in the vitae, in the blood that you're putting on your tongue. The cost is free. This is just something that vampires can do. It's like a discerning palate that the Tremere or the Banu Hakim have. The dice pools are Resolve plus Blood Sorcery. So this has a lot to do with keeping your mental faculties in check while your beast would be raging that you're putting blood into your mouth. It wants more. And I can see how if you failed this check, that it would be the beast just ravaging, wanting more. The system states, the user dabs the blood on their tongue and makes a Resolve plus Blood Sorcery roll difficulty of 3. With a win, the user can determine the resonance and intensity of the blood if human. They can also identify whether the blood belongs to a mortal, a ghoul, a vampire, or a supernatural creature. It may not necessarily be able to identify the supernatural creature, if not kindred or ghoul. Tasting vitae also determines the relative blood potency, and thus the likely generation band of the vampire. A critical win also reveals whether the subject has ever committed diablerie, and the generation within one of the vampire. If the user knows of the supernatural creature in question, they can identify the specific supernatural creature on a critical win after tasting the blood. So this one has... It's got such an interesting array of information you can learn. First off, the idea of being able to tell whether or not something is a kindred, a ghoul, or other comes in handy a lot, considering the fact that a lot of these investigations that the Tremere or the Banu Hakim go on are going to be kindred related. The idea that a critical win is going to let you know whether or not they committed diablerie, definitely tell you what generation they are within one, and then also identify a supernatural creature if they've ever had that before. I think that in the older days when chantries were more prominent and the Tremere were more organized, that this would be a kind of thing where if you are learning Taste for Blood, your sire or your regent or who's ever in charge of teaching you whatever you're doing would definitely have gone, and this is the blood of a werewolf, and this is the blood of a fae. Like, this is the kind of thing where having an organization that the Tremere used to have shows its benefits. The duration is non-applicable because this is one of those things where you put it to your mouth. There's really no reason to even worry about how long this is going to last. You're tasting it. This is a power, like I said, that just seemed to be overlooked. I think as a Tremere player, if I was going to bring in a Tremere player, I would want to say that this was my first level of thaumaturgy because it teaches you the direct properties of the blood. This is going to be important for anyone who's trying to learn how to do alchemical actions involving the blood. I would like to hear your uses and any kind of example that you have where this has been maybe something that's helped with an investigation in your game. I am Voivode Maquette, and this has been A Taste for Blood on the Blood Sorcery playlist for Level by Level. Class dismissed.